Yes, y'all know. When you hear that beat, it's the coffee break on TAAN TV, the African American Network, where we have a local feel and a global reach, y'all. Come on now. Hello and welcome to TAAN TV, the African American Network, where we have a local feel and a global reach, y'all. It's the coffee break, sports edition. Hey, we're gonna give you a recap. You know, we've been normally the recap would have came on Monday, but we had to push it back to the day because it had some cancellations, everything. So we here today doing it on Tuesday, y'all. I hope everyone was well. You survived. If you're in San Antonio, we had a little light snow flurries last night, and if the kids got up late, they missed it. So if they wasn't up by between 10 and 12, they missed it. But I didn't know things were so bad in Houston, Texas, man. And I'm just talking Texas because they normally don't snow like that, except in the northern part up in Dallas. But let me bring in my co-hosts and our special new residents partner on. Come on in, Kev. What's happening?
Oh, it's all good, man. Just excited to have some snow.
I know,
Now
I
let's get
know.
back to our regular week.
And let's bring in my main man, Phil Townsend. Come on, Phil. There he is.
What's up? All right, how y'all doing?
What's
Good,
up, man?
good.
So we got some things we're gonna cover tonight. Like the district rankings. We got some games of the week. And then we got the state rankings and a new addition to the state rankings. We're gonna add them ladies, man. We got some. I didn't know we had that many teams in San Antonio that's ranked. So we're gonna find out a little later with that. But I guess we're gonna start out, Kev, with some of the games that we've seen this past weekend, and I'm gonna go ahead and let you take it off and let us know what games
Yeah, we started off
we covered.
Friday afternoon with Edison, uh, the Edison versus Sam Houston, and Edison wound up winning that game by about 15. And then I watched the Jefferson play the near. Stayed for that one because that was two of the tied for first place games uh, that night over at the ACC. Then we drove down.
Wait. Are you
Mhm.
gonna talk about it a little bit, or we're gonna come back?
Well, I mean, what's there to say?
I don't
Edison
know, because
showed up.
you went
Well,
to go see him for a reason.
Kevin, you can be like the proud papa and talk about what Edison did.
I
Well, I'm
mean,
Your
just gonna
heart
say,
and
is
who
in
did what?
Edison
Give us a
Houston.
little rundown.
oh man.
With them, the games you made. I'm gonna
Mhm.
tell you the games I seen. I'm gonna say something.
Look, Kevin,
Yeah,
I'm just saying, Kevin, go ahead and pump your chest a bit. You, Edison, pump your chest.
you know, that's not my style, but Edison showed up and showed out. Uh, the game was close. The first quarter. Um, Sam Houston has Trayshawn Spears and Corey, and them two young men can get to the basket and score. Um, Seemed as if Trayshawn got a little frustrated with some of the calls,
Okay.
and he kind of in the foul trouble took himself out of the game. To be quite honest, and then Edison just continued to capitalize, maintain a 8 to 10 point lead throughout the game, and closed out strong. Um, Jefferson and Lanier came on right after them, and I stayed through halftime, and their normal guys stood up. Adrian Reyna and Trey Perez. Both played well for them. And then I ran over to meet up with you guys over at Paul Taylor with John Jay and Southside.
Mm-hmm.
And John Jay, I think Phil nailed it. If number 3 didn't catch his name from Southside, didn't show up, they would have 4 points to show for in the first half.
Well, that little guard.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. He was definitely their lifeline.
Yes. And John Jay just kind of stayed on people's neck the way they've done this season. They play as a team, they score as a team, and actually their top players, Cameron Garza, a lot of times will be their top player for the night, but it won't read that way in the stats. But I did notice that he came out a little more aggressive, penetrated, got to the basket, wound up pulling up for a jumper to start off his scoring night. And, we sat up and we talked with Eric Robles after the game. Unheralded, but very important senior on that team. I don't think people realize that all 4 of those point guards that John Jay can really play, can really shoot it. Just somebody they can't have 4 point guards on the floor at the same time. But he came in and had 17 points in a quarter and a half, and in one of those scoring flurries, he hit back to back to back threes for John Jay.
That was nice.
And
yeah.
He's a great kid, very enjoyable person to talk with. So I was glad that he got his moment, and that we got our moment with him afterwards. That capped off a pretty good night for us.
Kevin, if I could just
Go ahead.
if I could just mention this about Eric Robles, what people have to understand is that Kevin is, I should say, the one-eyed scout. He's been doing this for 12 years. He helps place kids in positions with people with resources that will get them to other places. So he knows what he's talking about. And that demonstration came to fruition when we got a chance to see Eric Robles the other night. As Kevin just said, he is like the 4th guard. This guy could probably, well, not probably, but literally be studying somewhere else. So, it's just shout outs to what Kevin recognizes and notices. And I'm just letting you know, people, this is the guy to talk to if you want to get someone in a position to do some things.
Well, thanks for the nice words, Phil. Vance is never going to say anything nice like that.
I'm gonna keep it real, but I don't know what you're trying. All right, Phil, you all right? You can get your spot. We ain't gonna. But I do would like to say this though about John Jay in the game, Kevin and Phil. That I want to give a shout out to Coach Brooks for keeping his team focused, knowing that they was really, a dominant squad. You know what I'm saying? They played. They kept running plays. They kept that hustle going. Jay Jack, that's my that's my guy there, man. So but they played D. They kept the defensive intensity up, even though they knew they was pretty much going beat these guys. So I want to give the coach them to keep that up because like I told them, I sure hope we can follow them to the road all the way to the state this year. And but anyway, but my last little statement, Kevin, so I'll give it back to you. is we were sitting in the stands, and I don't want to say their name, but they mentioned that what they would like to see a matchup between John Jay and
Mm-hmm.
Wagner. So, what do you think about that coming through? But I do want to give a shout out to where that came from, and we appreciate him from TAAN TV, the African American Network.
Well,
Go ahead, man.
that matchup would be interesting, and I don't think we'll have to wait too many rounds to see it.
Okay.
I do want to give a shout out to Kane Salmaz and Alexis for reaching out to us in the comments tonight. But it's going to be a situation where, with those two matchups, how they're going to match up with Trey Clark. And I think Elijah Hubbard matches up with him physicality wise, height, weight, movement, quickness. Trey may be more skilled. And then the next matchup to look at is what guards are going to dominate what guards. Coach Clark has a very defensive, dominant team, imposes its will. You've got Marcus and Damian and Jordan, all three great defensive guards, and to match those three up with Cam, J-Jack, and Jaden, I think the X factor is going to be Zach Linson. As far as what I would say would put them over the top in my estimation. And that's not saying that.
Okay, that's interesting.
Well, I mean, they got Tyler Jackson who can have something to say about that. So
it's pretty much are you pretty much telling me they're pretty much
they're evenly matched.
They're evenly matched. Okay.
And so it'll be good for the city. I would want for one of them to move on, but not choosing one over the other. But it's going to be a good matchup in the city.
So let me ask you this: so they won't meet until
Correct.
Playoffs.
Wow. Wagner's in the Judson ISD district. John Jay's in Northside. John Jay's the only 5A school in Northside. So they do a mix of Northside, Northeast. And Judson predominantly does, Wagner and Veterans Memorial does a lot of Kerrville Tybee, Comal teams. I'm leaving somebody out, but so they're on two different districts. And it's just going to be a good matchup for the city.
Okay, real quick, I'm gonna let you go in. When are we gonna check out Wagner? I gotta put some eyes on.
That's coming up. We're gonna.
Okay.
I would tell you Friday.
Okay.
If not, the worst case scenario is February 11th. Their senior night. I've held long true that
get us in the building, man. Get us in the building.
I'm getting there.
I'm telling you, man.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Phil. My man must have some magical dust or something sprinkling around the city, man. Doors are opening, and they're letting TAAN TV in, and they let us in, man. And along with the OneEyed Scout, I guess because maybe I don't know, but it's all good, man. We're gonna take this ride and promote these kids, man.
Well, it's just good that Kevin's a big guy to pull us along.
Come on now.
Nah, we've been fortunate. We've been fortunate. But man, to hop right into Saturday's games, we started off with Brendan versus Harlan, and Brennan took care of business. I don't think, I do think Harlan showed up, and I do think Harlan put a lot of their best efforts forward. Um, I do think that Brennan is just that much better. I think there's two teams in the city that there's a gap, and what, four, but in 6A, it's going to be who out of Johnson, Brennan, and Steele meets in the playoffs, because you got big 5A, I mean big 6A and little 6A. And
Oh,
yes.
well, Kevin, because I like, because when you be throwing out so much knowledge, but I like for some of our TAN TV viewers to have this out. So kind of explain what's the difference 6A when you
Mhm.
say 6A large and 6A small,
Yeah,
or is that what
they
you saying?
call it
Or
big and little, but
okay, okay, big
so
and little.
UIL decided that they were going to crown two state champions in basketball per classification, the same way they've done for football for quite a while. And in doing so, you have the top four teams in each district will move to the playoffs. So, regardless of where you rank within that district, the top two teams in enrollment, say your first team and your third place team, well, those two teams will be one and two in large 5A, and then the next two of the top four teams will be one and two in the little 6A. And so, what that would mean for I figured this one out, or I was shown this comparison in little 5A. If the playoff started today, would be Edison versus John Jay.
Mm.
And
Ah!
yes, so I love the Bears, but that would be a one and done. um, but that just kind of gives you
Well,
that that situation, and
okay. Well,
and
thanks,
so
man.
we watched Brennan versus Harlan, and
Right.
go ahead, Phil.
No, that's the game I want to talk about.
Hmm.
I've seen Harlan play, and I was like, this is a good team. I really like them. So Kevin, I heard you talk so much about Brennan and Kingston, and I was uh, um, looking forward to just seeing that the team against the both of those teams play, because I know you have an affinity for Harlan also.
Hmm.
But after watching Fleming and what's his name,
Camden Cowgill.
yeah, Cowgill, um, I was I was like, this is a completely different level of team
Hmm.
to what Harlan has, because Harlan has a good team, but it was clearly a cut case of a really good varsity team playing a good JV team. If you look at it that way, because it was just a whole different level. You could see,
That much though, Phil.
yes, sir. If you looked at the way that uh, the players could shoot that ball uh, for Brennan, and I'm
Hmm.
just going to take um, Fleming for instance. It was amazing. The one thing that I loved about him is that he was all up in a player, arms down, not reaching, slapping at the ball or anything. And I loved it that he kept his hands down and he just did a poke every now and then to get to get a steal or something. But his lateral movement, the quickness, and his ability that when an offensive player got past him, the way he'd ride his shoulder to get back in front of him, it was amazing footwork, and I loved seeing that.
Phil,
Well, you talking about the number one
I want
player
to
in the
interject.
city, though.
I think
Yeah.
you're looking at
Go ahead.
Harlan
Go ahead, Kev.
as a really good varsity team. Hear me all the way out. And I think what you're catching is Brennan, who's number 11 in the country, number 12 in the country.
10 now.
10. 10? Yeah. So I think that sways that, because when you look at that district, Harlan's only has 2 losses, both to Brennan. Otherwise, they would be first place in their district by quite a few games.
And that's exactly what I'm saying. I am saying that Harlan is they are a good team. I watched them.
Mm-hmm.
That's why
Yeah.
in seeing Brennan play them,
Mm-hmm.
I am like, now don't get me wrong, I don't see the junior varsity teams that I've been around in Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
There are plenty of those players that, if it weren't for the grade that they were in, that could be on the varsity team. So when I'm saying that, I'm not saying that, and that might be why it caught Vance by surprise. I'm used to seeing good junior varsity teams, and yes,
In
sir.
Oklahoma?
I only look. I can.
You in Texas, Phil?
Oh well, I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry. Yeah, but that's what I'm talking about. And so, but the level was so defined as
I
to
agree with you.
what the teams were. And so that's what I mean. It's not a slight. I'm giving you that identification there. Because if I say we saw 2 Titans meet, right? In San Antonio, then it would really make Harlan look like a bad team compared to Brennan. And that's not what I'm saying.
Well,
I'm saying that they are a really good team. But to see what Brennan has is something, well, there is a definite defined distinction.
let me ask you this, Kevin. Though, what's the breakdown in classification of the Brendan?
They're both
to
6A. I don't know.
No, well, no. I'm not talking about like, I'm talking about seniors to underclassmen. Seniors. How many seniors?
Harlan. Well, Brennan only has Cam, Kingston, and Javon. The rest of those guys are coming back.
Right.
Harlan has.
They got 3 starting seniors.
They have 2 starting seniors.
2 starting seniors.
I'm telling you that. And then Harlan has KJ, Knowledge, and Zaki. So it's but the real question is this,
are they all
man.
starting?
And this is where I caught some flack earlier, because I really have gone that I really believe that Harlan would push them. And a couple people got talked to me, and I see what they're saying now. Brennan has a 5A best point guard in possibly the country. They have 2 4-stars in Donnie Chris and Isaiah Ward. Talon has offers to Wichita State. So there is a definition, because Knowledge and KJ, no disrespect to them, are signed with Division II programs. Zaki will go junior college, and so there's just different levels. There's different levels to it. So, but I think what was equally as interesting is when we drove over to watch Johnson and Clark, because it was the same kind of domination. And so Oh,
I'm sorry, what
someone
is it?
put a question in the section. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but Johnson and Clark had the same kind of separation. And Joseph asked, "Does the separation come down to coaching, and how much of Brennan's success is due to coaching, or does Brennan just have better players?" Um, I think in
Mm,
this
mm.
situation, Brennan has better players. Um, I don't knock Coach Hall's coaching, or I mean, coaching comes down to players and how much talent you have. And it's obvious that Brendan has more on the talent end right now. So, um, but the guys at Brendan, they've played together. They've played for the same organization with SA Future. They've trained together. Some of those guys have been together since middle school, um, and that doesn't happen everywhere. You know, um,
So are you saying coaching has
No.
nothing to do with it
I'm
then?
saying you give Bill Parcells with the Kansas City Chiefs, and you get Bill Parcells with the Dallas Cowboys, and you got your own answer.
Exactly.
So, no, I do think that, but I do think Cal Gill's a good coach. Yeah, I mean, we talked about Coach Brooks keeping his team focused. Imagine coaching Brennan, and they've gone all over the country. They got it handed to them when they went up to Washington, Baltimore area, but he's had those guys up for every game, and that may come down to player-driven leadership, may come down to senior leadership, but they have not looked distracted at all this year. So,
Nice.
and then we went out to the Incarnate Word game, watched Texas A&M Corpus Christi versus Incarnate Word, University of Incarnate Word, and it got close, but Texas A&M Corpus Christi persevered. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it was good to watch Dennis from graduated from Veterans Memorial, um, played for Texas A&M Corpus Christi. It's always good to see guys from the city succeed. But man, I can't tell you. I mean, I can name quite a few, but there was probably 10 or 15 high school prospects college prospects in the stands for that game. And that was interesting to see. Interesting to see.
Well, uh, beside the ones that you had hands on to
Mhm.
bring in, uh, so the ones that you did ask to come. So were most of those college
The
prospects?
ones that stopped by and talked, yes, yeah.
Okay,
Um, you
okay.
know,
I think that's a good thing they're doing. Having the kids come in and check them out. Now, is any of the ones that were there that Incarnate Word may be interested in? Really?
um, yes. There's one.
Okay.
Uh, I'm surprised they haven't offered Amari Guerra. I mean, I just put
Amari.
Amari
Who?
Guerra from Antonia.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that he's 5'7", but he led EYBL was tops in rebounds. EYBL, he was tops in assists. He was tops in steals, and that's when he was a year younger than everyone else. So I'm not putting UIW on blast, but I can't figure that one out. Um, and there's a couple of juniors right now that they should really be taking a good look at. I'll put them on blast for Josiah McDonald out of Southwest. That young man was a 5A first team All State. They not even a sniff, and we have
Mm.
brought him by a couple of times. Then he goes out to Williston State and playing very well, and he just recorded his third 20-point game in a row, with 6 rebounds and 2 blocks. So now I'm kind of expanding my reach for him, about sharing his name with other Division One programs in the state, because everybody wants to come back home to play. Go away for a little bit, come back home, and he's doing that as a freshman in college. And
Nice.
Vance, Brad had a big deal in getting him that deal up there at Williston State. So Brad's still working deals for kids, man, and it's been awesome. And I like Xavier Rendon going to Pratt. That's going to be about. I expect about the same situation, where he's going to go up there and show out and be ready to move on.
I got to see him too, man.
Well,
I want to get a
Vance,
chance to see.
you
Yeah,
just
Xavier
didn't hear
too.
him when he said Amari, right? Because I know he's a favorite of yours.
When we were talking about,
Yeah,
Amari,
Amari. Built like a tank.
Amari, yeah. So
Got the great
my
handle.
question was, TJ Ford, what's his
he's a sophomore,
classification?
but
That'd be a good little battle
that would be fun.
for
Yeah.
a spot, huh? That'd
I
be a
know
good little
2
battle
dudes
for
ain't
a
gonna
spot.
back down from it either.
That'd be.
Yeah, DeMarcus, he was good, man. I'm glad you got a chance to play with him before he left off to college. DeMarcus,
DeMarcus Robinson.
yeah, he got in the comments for today. So that was our weekend.
Yeah.
6 games in 2 days was great for me. While my wife had her Super Bowl of dance competition.
All right.
Yeah, I got home a little bit too early Saturday because they were still watching.
Kevin, you had mentioned about when we saw the Johnson Clark game. It was a lot like that Brennan game as far as the scores went. But even though Johnson's not too far away from me, in watching that game, I just didn't get that. The outcome was basically the same, but the feeling as far as players' abilities, with Johnson and Brennan, I just didn't, couldn't get to that. I
The
don't
same
feel
field,
yeah, I didn't get that same feel.
I agree with you.
Going there. But I did have one question to ask you. This is kind of like a real futures thing. Have you seen Allen play?
Yes.
And now Allen's number 1 in the state, right? For that and going with Brennan number 2.
I think it's flip flop, but irregardless,
the latest thing I saw was Allen number 1 and Brennan number 2. Who's got that? If it were,
Brennan.
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, I've seen Brennan match up with Dynamic Prep, and they have 2 guys going to SMU that are both big or wing players. And this is where I give Coach Kyle Gill his props. He guarded Marcus Toombs with Time Todd, Talon's brother. I showed you on
right.
He guarded him. He used all 5 fouls, but he gave that guy fits, and then they rotated different players through. And man, I just go hands down. Brennan's gonna win the state championship in my mind, and no one can shake me from that until someone beats him in the playoffs in the state of Texas.
I'm seeing that. I'm seeing what you're seeing.
Yeah.
But you don't know the backstory.
I don't need to know the backstory when I can do like you say, Vance, the eye test.
I know the eye test, but yeah, you just got to see the eye test between him and Coach Skogel. That's what I'm talking about.
That's fine.
Wonder why he
That,
gave it such
that's
high
fine.
praise to
But
Coach Skogel.
I've seen great coaches not have great players and not get great outcomes.
Yeah. Well, next page. Um,
You
no,
want
I'm
to
just
bring up
getting
what we
Phil
talking about?
off of this
Okay.
topic. Um, because there's another dominant team in 6A, and that's Steel. And we're gonna go watch
Okay.
Steel tomorrow night. Yeah.
Wednesday night. Okay.
Um,
Game of
yeah.
the week
Yep. Game of the week.
coming up.
Um,
We take a station break, and then what are we
we'll
going
go
to
to
go
we'll
to
go to
the
district rankings.
district rankings? Okay. If you just tuned in, you tuned in to TAAN TV, the African American Network, where we have a local feel and a global reach, y'all. It's the coffee break, sports edition. You got myself, Vance, Kevin, Phil, talking sports here, y'all. High school basketball, San Antonio. All right, Kevin.
Will you go ahead and pull up the district rankings?
No, man. Let me see.
Snoozing up there.
I'm snoozing, I'm bluesing.
All right.
Is that it?
So we talked last week, and we talked to how Wagner was running away with it, and Wagner won their game. Alamo Heights, their only two losses are to Wagner. No, uh, one to Wagner and one to Bernie Champion. They shouldn't have lost that game. But we talked about that Veterans Memorial Piper matchup, about whoever lost that was going to put themselves behind. And so Veterans won, and that put Piper 5-4. But the dangerous part is now they're behind New Braunfels. And New Braunfels is a hard team to beat. They play a system, and by this time of the year, their systems are pretty tight. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. But now Piper and Bernie, well, really Piper, is on the outside looking in, and they're going to need help looking at the playoffs. 27 5A, Edison still in the top seed, tied for first. But Highlands won, Jefferson won, and Seguin won. And I think this time around that Seguin's going to give everybody the toughest test, and I really do think Seguin will win the district eventually. But they've been, as soon as they got their football players into basketball, their season really took off. 28 5A, John Jay and South San are going to play this Friday night. And that one was hard. Yes, that one was hard to walk away from. But I'm gonna trust those guys are gonna hold it down. Southwest Legacy, our friend Coach Abbott, they're number 5, look outside looking in, and Southwest and Harlandale will round out 3 and 4. 27 6A. That's what I say. Johnson has really demonstrated that they're the class of that district. And so now, barring any crazy circumstance, they should be the first place team at the end of it all. Brandeis didn't look so good early in district, and now they fought their way back to being tied for second with Reagan. And this is where it kind of, oh no, it's the next one. So Harlan's still solidly in second place. There's a a game with O'Connor this weekend. I can't remember if it's Brendan O'Connor or that's gonna be an important game. It should be down here on our next segment when we talk about the games of the week. I believe that game takes place on Saturday. Sotomayor, they started off really hot. And they've lost three in a row. So that district separates itself pretty quickly. And 29 6A, the newspaper's done a terrible job of updating the records in this district. So we're just going to say that Steele is in first place. And we're going to go watch them play this weekend. Phil, it's been off so bad. They've had teams reel off 3 wins in a row. They still have them at 1 and 2. So we just kind of went away from them. But that definitely wouldn't happen in football.
That kind of stuff would drive Phil
Oh,
crazy.
I bet it would.
That would have driven the stat man. That's stat man down there, boy. Don't mess with the stats. So, who what department do I need to give them a call?
Go for it, man.
So they can upgrade.
All right, so let's go ahead and talk about our
update
games
their
for Wednesday,
For
tomorrow
the-
night.
All right. Bing, bing.
Okay. The top 3 games. Well, the one we're going to is Clemens versus Steele. Spencer Valley versus Piper. That's just a good rivalry game out here in the Hill Country. And then John Jay versus South Sand. South Sand's only loss this district season has been to John Jay.
Where is that game, Kevin?
I want to say it was Northside, but I'm not sure because we weren't going. And then Edison.
You never know. It's detour. Go ahead.
The Edison versus Fox Tech. This should be an easy game for Edison. I say should. Fox Tech is 0-10 in district play so far. And so this will be another night where there'll be 4 teams tied for first place and see where everybody ends up. But I wanted to share the updated state rankings. In 3A, Cole is still number 9. Actually moved up from 10 to number 9. Davenport with the McKinney brothers moved up from 20 to 16. Wagner and John Jay in 5A stayed the same, 9th and 11th. And then in 6A, Brandon number 1, Steele 7, and Johnson and Harlan flip-flop positions at number 22. We do have an opportunity.
Wait a minute. So Harlan is 23?
Harlan was 22.
Oh,
and now
Harlan
it's Johnson.
Was 22? So where's
They're not
Harlan
ranked.
ranked? So they dropped out of, is it what, the
Yeah,
top 25?
25,
Is it they go 25? Okay.
But for a new segment, new opportunity, I wanted to showcase the ladies' state rankings because what I realized is there's just as many girls state ranked as there are boys state ranked, and we've never given the ladies their proper exposure. 4A, Davenport is number 21. In 5A, Wagner is number 7. McCullum, San Antonio McCullum is number 12. And Cornell Piper is 18. And then we flip over to 6A. Judson been in the same spot almost a whole year. number one in the state. Um, San Marcos, number 22. Number 23, Steele, and number 24, Churchill. I do. It always intrigues me whenever uh, teams in both men's rankings and ladies' rankings from the same school are ranked. You know, that's a. I want to say it's an anomaly, but it's just always very interesting.
Why?
Um, because that means that the total, in my opinion, the total talent base is very strong for that area. Um, Not very often does the national championship winner boys and girls match up. There's been several times that UConn has had it happen. Um, I know there's a few others. That's just the one that always sticks out to me because Connecticut is such a
Mm-hmm.
cold place. Um, I don't know why anybody would want to go to school there. Uh,
Man, when you
No, no,
young and in
no,
college,
no. I was
in college,
I was once
and you're
young,
young,
and I never thought about going to Connecticut.
yeah, but you never was playing ball, man. You know, you could go any
No,
YMCA, which you was
no,
trying to get on, and never made it. I don't even think you made YMCA. But anyway, yo, man, shoot, and
no,
you playing ball
no.
D1, man, shoot, you
Yeah,
you would play if you had the opportunity. They said
oh,
come
I'd have
come
been
play.
there.
no,
Okay, man.
no.
Well, what you talking about? What you talking about?
Well, I'm gonna highlight some games on the back end of the week, and we'll go over these again. Um, but see, here is the second big games set of big games this week. You got Wagner versus Veterans Memorial.
Wow,
That's where we're headed.
wow.
That's
Yes,
where we going. Oh, okay.
and Steel versus East Central. That's going to be a dogfight. The only exception we might make,
I heard East Central got some
yeah,
players.
they got a point guard, and they got our man Zaire Williams, who just eats glass. And I don't know that Steel
Mm.
has anyone to match up with him physicality wise. I'm not talking down on Steel. I just know they're predominantly guard, wing driven. And then I was tempted to go see YMLA versus Cole, but I'm not sure that's going to happen. We have the right to change our opinion before Friday, and then hopefully Lanier is playing Edison again, tied for first place. And then I do want to put this out on Saturday. Um, we're gonna catch Lee versus Brandeis out at Northside, and Brennan versus O'Connor. Um, Give us another opportunity to see Brennan. Give us a chance to see O'Connor's inside guys, and then we'll take off from there and either go to St. Mary's versus University of Texas Permian Basin, or my preferred destination is UTSA versus Temple. Um, if we get UTSA to come off those media credentials.
Man, I told you leave Phil often. Should have got cleared. But no, you said no, leave him on. I said, okay, okay. It's gonna be a struggle.
Yeah, but
He can't keep his fingerprint. He can't.
no, that kind of gives us a rundown for the week. A little bit of a wrench with the weather, but hopefully that moves on out. I do like the occasional 30s, 40s, because I'm a big man. I like to be cold, um,
Hmm?
but
I
icy
like it too,
roads,
Kevin. When you
yeah.
add those two together,
Yes, yes. But so that kind of wraps it up, man, for tonight. Um, I don't know if
Okay.
Phil, you got anything you want to dish out.
end
No,
this
it's
up
all
with?
good. I just want to let everybody know. Keep an eye on the One-Eyed Scout.
There you go. There you go. Hey, any of y'all surprised with the national championship game?
I was surprised that Notre Dame didn't win. That's the only
I was
surprise
too.
it was for me.
I thought they were going to win.
They came close. They, you know, it is what it is. But Ohio State was clicking for a while there. I mean, it was just rolling, man. And for
No,
them
they
to
didn't
get
let
back
them get
in it,
back
you
in.
know,
No.
yeah, they pretty
Yeah.
They earned it, Vance.
much, they pretty much let them back in. Yeah. Okay. What y'all want? Go Notre Dame. But anyway, before I want to shut it down, man, is I do want to give a shout out to these coaches out there, man, and I just want to say, man, there's since I've been watching high school basketball here in San Antonio uh, this year, and these guys been coaching. You know, I've been meeting them. And I'm speaking of the black coaches that are in that are coaching in San Antonio, coaching high school basketball. As there's more that I've ever seen, and these brothers are doing an excellent job. And hey, you know, we're here at TAAN TV, the African American Network, where we have a local feel and a global reach. And so I just want to give a big shout out to them fellas, man, and keep it up. You know, keep doing your thing, man, and you know, all is well. You know, San Antonio basketball is in good hands. Not just with the black coaches, but all the coaches. You know, are stepping up, man. You know, so they're doing things that is kind of elevating their programs. But I just wanted to give that special shout out to the black coaches, and I will be back. And let's because we want them to share their stories, man. And yeah, that's my thing. It's to share the stories, man. So, and you know, there might be a young black kid that's sitting there that's, you know, want to be a coach one day. So they're gonna have a great path to follow, you know. So, you know, I just want to share that out and put it out there for them to see. That's all I got to say today, Kevin. Man, I'm ready to shut it down, Phil. And hey, man, give your social media handles, Kevin and Phil.
YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok at the One Eye Scout. Instagram is the One Eye Scout. And I appreciate everyone that's following. Make sure that you like and subscribe to get the notification bell whenever we go live.
That's right. Don't forget. And tomorrow, come on, Kevin, tell them about what's happening tomorrow on TAN TV at 7 p.m. Central Time.
We got to sit down with the Eric Robles and Jaden Gillian whenever John Jay opened their doors to us. This will be the third installment of interviews, and so looking forward to sharing with everyone how these guys had to share. Two great kids that know how to shoot the ball. John Jay and Better Than Basketball club program.
There it is. So and shout out, and like I like to shout out to Coach Brooks and what's it and
Taylor.
Coach Lawrence. Coach Taylor.
Lawrence Taylor.
Okay.
That's how you got there.
We'll see how hey, there's a Lawrence in there, man. Coach Lawrence. Hey, Coach Brooks and Coach Taylor. Shout out to y'all, man. We're gonna do it, man. I like them bros, man. They bros. Okay, y'all. So we out of here. Phil, we out. I'm finna shut it down. All right, here we go.